extra time.
2 घंटे में डिलीवरी, विश यू अ स्पीडी रिकवरी। कोई भी दवा अब नहीं करो मिस, दवाई चाहिए ASAP तो बस एक अपोलो 24/7 डिलीवर करे आपकी पूरी प्रिस्क्रिप्शन सिर्फ 2 घंटों में।
Could I just ask the latest on Ben Stokes' situation? I don't think you put a sort of time limit on it when he was ruled out. You know, when he withdrew from the side. Have you checked on him? Is there any chance he could feature in this series? Do you think?
It's, I mean, there's still no time limit on it, Paul. To be honest, you know, I mean, I just stress again that the important thing is that Ben, you know, I mean, he's okay. His family are okay, and that he comes back strong. And he's when he re-enters the frame, he's ready in his mind to come back and perform for England like we know he can. I'm certainly not pushing him for an answer. I don't think that would be the right thing to do. You know what I mean? So there's people around him supporting him, and when he's ready to come back in, obviously we'll welcome him back with open arms. But until then, he'll get all the support he needs.
So would there be a call to him today, for instance, before selection tonight, just to see where he is? Or is that too soon?
No, there's no pushing from my point of view. I don't think you can push these issues. You know what I mean? I'll wait. There's going to be an element of waiting for him to come to me to let me know he's ready.
Chris, Joe took responsibility for tactics after yesterday. First of all, did you agree with that? And if so, what could have been done differently?
Well, I think it's a collective. I know sort of Joe took that on himself, obviously in the interview afterwards, but I think it's collective as well. You know what I mean? I'm part of that as well. So it's something that, you know what I mean, we've got to look at together. You know what I mean? Potentially, if we was to do it again, I agree with Joe. We could probably, you know what I mean, gone back to sort of plan A sooner than we did. But it's, I mean, it's one of those things we have to learn from without a shadow of a doubt. And obviously, if we get that time again, as Joe said, we would probably consider doing things slightly differently. I don't mind the aggressive approach. You know what I mean? But one thing we have to do is become good at sort of removing the tail of a lower order batsman. But equally, I'd like to give some credit to the Indian batsmen as well. I thought they handled the situation really well. Navigated the way through it and put their team in a really strong position. So, I mean, they have to take some credit for it, but equally, we have to look at our tactics as well.
You praised the Indian batsmen there. What lessons can your own batsmen learn from them, and how concerning is the form of some of those in the middle order and the top order?
Listen, we're sort of having a similar conversation as we did last time, really. Obviously, those big first innings runs have got to be a priority for us, and they are a priority for us. We talk about making big partnerships, and I thought, I mean, there was an improvement in that first innings there. We did have some good partnerships between Ruti and Johnny, and sort of various other partnerships down. So in the first innings, you know, I mean, we almost got that right. Second innings, obviously, we didn't get that right, and we have to address that. We have to address, you know, a potential over reliance at time of Joe getting those runs. But the one thing that I would say we did over a period of time, we played some really good cricket. So although we lost a test match, and yes, we're all gutted about that, don't get me wrong, I think there are some positives there. There are some good things to look at. And I think the first innings, creating those partnerships again, is something that we needed to do. It's something that we need to get back on board with and do more often. And I think if we can do that, we'll find that, you know what I mean, consistent, we'll put ourselves in better positions. But I thought for 4 days and probably into that first hour of the 5th day, we played some really good cricket. And unfortunately, India pushed back strong after that. And we didn't have many answers. And I mean, you've got to give credit to India for that as well, the way that they rallied and the push the pressure back onto us. Again, you know, I mean, us watching a team that are in a position that we aspire to be in, you know, I mean, we can take lessons off them.
Just going back to the tactics, and you say obviously you do things differently. There seemed to be an impression that perhaps England's bowlers were more concerned about getting back at India's tail enders for what happened to James Anderson than getting them out. Is there some truth in that?
Well, you know, I mean, emotions ran high. There's no doubt about it. You know, I mean, obviously they targeted Jimmy in that first innings, and you know, I mean, so we went back hard at them as well. You know, I mean, we tried to go toe to toe with them. I think what we could have done better is sort of shift from that tactic to back to sort of plan A, as such as we call it, where you're hitting top of off more, probably sooner. But I think, I mean, it was a hard game. It was a hard fought game. And I think that, I mean, the one thing I will say is that, you know, I mean, that competition that created with what happened to me was it put a lot of fire in his belly for day 4 as well. And I thought, you know, I mean, for a lot of day 4, the way that we stuck at our task was absolutely fantastic with the ball. So, you know, I mean, we can use that fuel to a real positive intent as well. And maybe it just got away a little bit with us, obviously, when the lower order were in, but we'll learn from that. And it's, but what I don't want us to do is to lose a passion. I want us to keep that passion and use it in a real positive way, as we did on day 4. Like I say, it gives you energy, it gives you fuel. So it's, you know, I mean, yes, we could have done things a little bit differently, and obviously I'm part of that as well. And we could have gone back to plan A a bit quicker, but that's sort of the small parts of the game. And hindsight's always a wonderful thing. You know, I mean, had we run through the tail at that point, we'd have been in a great position. But you're constantly learning with this game, and I think that's what we've got to do. We've got to keep his eyes and ears open, and make sure we're taking in these lessons that are there.
Are you concerned about the spirit between the two teams going forward in the series?
No, not really, to be honest. I think, you know, I mean, as always, the two teams go hard on the park. You know, I mean, behind the scenes, we seem to get on fine. You know, I mean, I don't see any problems there. I just think it's played by two very passionate group of people that want to do well for the country, very proud of playing for the country. And I think that's what we're seeing.
And just on the kind of the mental preparation, I guess, ahead of Headingley, how you kind of deal with the defeat at Lords and how you kind of channel the frustration from that. Will you have some kind of debrief when you get back together again next week, or what's the process behind make sure the lads are kind of in the right headspace heading into that next test match?
Well, we had a debrief last night. I mean, we tend to talk about things very openly and very honestly in the dressing room. You know, I mean, it's the one thing that I believe is beneficial to a team, is being able to sort of very maturely talk about what's happened without letting the emotions get in the way. But I think there's also going to have to be, the good thing is we've got a little bit of space now between, obviously, this test finishing and Headingley. So they can go home, spend a bit of time with their families, you know, we can sort of calm down a little bit and sort of clear their minds, and we can come back afresh. I think the one thing that I did remind them, it's not a position that we're not used to. I mean, we've been in this position before where we've gone 1-0 down in a series and still come back and won. So I've made sure that we remember those feelings and we remember those times and how we did it. And just, you know, I mean, pushed that, you know, I mean, so they've got the belief that they can do it because they have done it before. And like I said, again, just re-emphasize to the guys that for a majority of this test match, we played some excellent cricket. We played some really good cricket, which is encouraging and promising. You know, I mean, we're just going to make sure that we keep pushing that and we keep pushing to take the chances that are made available to us. And if we do that, then, you know, I mean, we will get over the line. But it's just a case of they've got to believe it as much as I do. You know what I mean? So, and I think this little break now will help them clear their minds. We'll come back, we'll start again, have a chat when we get in there. Again, re-emphasize all the good things we've done, make the plan, and move forward.
Hit the subscribe option and the bell icon to get all the exclusive sports videos on Extra Time.